There are two groups of women's runners in Providence College history that reached the mountaintop. Two teams that etched their names into the history books forever. The stories of the 1995 and the 2013 women's cross-country teams closely resemble each other. Two highly motivated teams that were hungry to prove themselves.
I think everyone put her in a really good summer of training.
We had people who were coming back who were All-Americans who we knew would be the leaders of the team. They just got better and better and they began to believe in themselves.
Did we expect to win NCs that fall for 95? Definitely not. We definitely had the potential.
That was a team that wasn't expected to be that good. We had finished 50 the year before and we'd lost Amy Rudolph, our top runner, a young team, but they came together really quickly.
We started straight into it in early September. Maria, Susan, Chrissy, Megan, Moira, they were all in great shape.
We managed that by just kind of making sure that they didn't race too hard against one another in the early season meets. We just wanted to make sure that they're well rested for the championship part of the season. And they managed that very well.
A tight-knit 2012 team inspired Laura Nagel and her fellow captains to keep that level of closeness amongst the team going into 2013.
2012 100% shaped 2013. We had Shelby and Sam leading the team, and I think they just came in, wanted to get that 2012 season kicked off as it should, creating a really good environment. Everyone just loved it. Coming into 2013, when Emily and I were kind of co-captains, we wanted to do the same thing. We knew we could be really good, and I think we sort of just kept that in mind the whole time.
2013 had a dominant trio of runners, with Emily Sisson, Laura Nagel, and Sarah Collins helping lead the team. It came down to a matter of working together and not against each other.
We came into 2013 off 2012. I think we were ranked number one in the country at the start of the season. We had a top three that were very different. Emily, Laura, Sarah, and anyone could beat the other on any given day.
In Boston, when we had the Battle of Beantown, that was probably our first big race. I've seen a few images now. It was me, Sarah, and Emily just running in almost maybe a line or a flying V or something. It was just I actually think someone called us the three-headed dog or something.
Even though they had all different personalities, they did respond well to, the guidance I was trying to give them in terms of running together, not beating each other up and stuff like that in the early season meets.
The 1995 season picked up steam as the season wore on. With great leaders, they only got better.
The leaders were Marie McMahon, Maria McCambridge, Susan Murnane were the top three athletes. Moira was the fourth athlete, but they were all leaders. They were great friends, and they all kind of made sure that everyone else held up their side of things.
From September on, I think the first meet we started winning and did really well.
I knew we had the makings of a pretty good team. As the season went along, they kept winning and getting better and better. By the time we got to the Big East meet and beat Villanova for the first time ever, I felt we had a team that could win the NCAAs.
When it came to conference and regional meets, the 2013 Friars went up a level with a healthy Grace Tech, who was battling injuries early in the season.
I was I think we've got something here. Kind of knew it, but at the same time, there's more than three in a team. There's definitely two other people there. And I think Kat started running really well as well. So then I think when it came to Big East and we threw Grace in, and I think we had the top 5 or 6 spots.
We put 4 in the top 7 in that meet.
I was wow, you can't get much more perfect than that.
It was probably one of the most dominant performances we had all year, I think.
And then regionals went really well, and then it was just, okay, let's see what happens at nationals.
A clean bill of health and high confidence carried the 1995 team into their conference championships.
I think we were all just getting excited because we just saw from all the races how great we were all doing. We knew we just needed to head into Big East because we were meeting Villanova there. We went in there and we were very dominant. I believe I won. I felt really great. Maria, Susan ran phenomenal. The whole team did.
Especially when we knocked off Villanova at the Big East meet, I really began to believe they had a chance to pull it off. They began to believe it as well at that stage.
I think that just set us up so nicely mental-wise, and just have that confidence and just the belief in ourselves. ECACs, we struggled. It was definitely, I finished second. I believe myself, Maria picked up a little head cold after Big East, struggled a little bit. But I think after that race, it wasn't a great day for us. Being part of that team, I think we all realized, even if we did not feel good on a race day, we just had to give it everything because every place counted. We all just gave it that extra little bit that I think got us to that goal of winning Big East, winning ECACs, and then moving on to the NCAA championship race.
The team was confident, and keeping the nervous energy from getting the best of them was the biggest challenge going into nationals.
I remember when we got to Iowa, we were super excited, but it was so cold. I feel like it was a cold that we'd never really experienced or raced in. We were all healthy going into NCAAs.
The main thing was just that we didn't try to do anything out of the ordinary, that we did exactly what we were doing all year, that everybody ran the race to their ability, the best of their ability on that day.
Ray and Andy were great. They kept everyone in a good mindset. Our team, we were very, very positive. We were excited. There was definitely a lot of nervous energy, but it was a good nervous. We were excited to get out there and race. And everyone went out there and ran their hardest and did their best, and which was amazing. And it brought us the title. So we can't complain.
The idea was to kind of keep things as loose as possible and just do what you've been doing all year. And, you know, they all did that, all 7 of them on the day. We could have gone back to our 7th runner and taken out any of our top 5 and still have won the meet.
It was the perfect day, the race. It went great for everybody. Sometimes there's a lot of pressure when you've won all the races all year as a team. Sometimes you have the underdog that can come in and knock you off the goal spot, but thankfully, we were able to do it.
The Friars had unofficially won the 1995 race, but the official results took quite a bit of time to get through. Nevertheless, the celebration was on once word came in. The Friars were NCAA champions.
It was very exciting. We waited a while for it because there was a little bit of a hiccup at the end of the race. They held the results for quite a bit of time, even though we knew we had won. So it took a bit of while for us to get on the podium and stuff. And by the time we got on the podium, you know, everybody had left. There was only just us left, I think.
Even when we won the title, I remember we actually had to go to a payphone to call back to Providence to like some of our roommates and teammates back home that we won.
Our old associate AD there, Jerry Alemo, you know, who was very, very excited. I remember a great story about Jerry going to the phone booth on campus to call back the results to John Maranata so that we didn't have the internet in those days. So, you know, things went very slowly, and he was in the phone booth giving the results to John so that everybody on campus knew that we had won. It was a very, very cold day. We were freezing, but we didn't feel it, you know, and stuff. The excitement was amazing.
The 2013 team went out to Terre Haute, Indiana for nationals and faced freezing cold temps.
We knew it was going to be so cold. I've never been so cold in my life. Prior to the race, I think maybe like 2 or 3 minutes before we started, we literally stripped down and were covering ourselves in olive oil, kind of like penguins, you know, keeps the heat in. And that was kind of our little tactic to make sure we could last the 6K relatively warm. That definitely helped, and I always tell people that story to this day as well because that's always kind of funny. I just remember the race being so incredibly hard. I don't remember anything being that hard. Usually I have a pretty strong finish, and I remember trying to finish the race and I was like, I can't go any faster than this. And so you're kind of just trying to get to the line. And then as soon as I got to the line, I literally thought like I had frostbite on my feet, and I think it was a good like 5 to 10 minutes before I like got outside of the sort of finishing chute before we started to like find people and eventually figure out where we'd finished.
The 95 and 13 teams represent 2 of the 3 NCAA national championships in Providence College athletics history. The memories and appreciation for the titles only grow stronger with the passing years.
Well, there were 2 groups that were fantastic to work with. The 1995 team had a get together virtually on Zoom on the anniversary of their win, and it was great to see them all, how they've all grown as people since they graduated. But at the same time, seeing them all together, they all went back to their college days. They all seemed like the same young women they were back then, and it was fun. It was fun to be around them. The 2013 team are not out long enough to see that growth, and but kind of I'm sure they're going the same direction as well. So it's good to see them growing as women, and stuff as the years go by, and they still have the love for PC that they had then.
It's really, really special, and like I appreciate it more, even more so now than I did probably when it happened. Like it probably took a wee while to sink in, just really how much of an incredible feat it was that we all did that together, and that it all came together on the day.
I must say, I think as I get older and as the years go by, I cherish it more and more and more.
I think I still would have these such great memories and such fond memories of Providence, regardless of winning or not. But I think winning just really put the cherry on top of the cake. It's pretty cool. When you say you won, you're part of the 95 cross-country winning team, it's like, oh, wow. It was awesome. That's all I can say. It really was an amazing achievement. I think for everything I've achieved over the years, I really do see that win in 1995 as being part of that team as probably one of my favorite accomplishments as a runner. And I think that I'd say true for most of the girls on the team. Yeah, I think the fact that we've probably only had 3 national titles in school history really just shows how hard it is, because there has been so many teams that are very capable of winning many times over, and it just hasn't come together on that one day. So yeah, I just think it's pretty awesome.
For Friars.com, I'm Nick Rojas.